the door that doesn't exist. Ryan Carter always thought he knew his grandfather's house. He'd spent countless summers there as a kid, wandering through the creaky old farmhouse, memorizing its every corner. It was a simple place: 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a small attic, and a basement that always smelled like damp earth. Nothing about it was ever surprising. Until now. That night, Ryan sat in the living room, sifting through a box of his grandfather's belongings. The old man had passed away 2 months ago, leaving Ryan the house, the land, and a lifetime of memories to sort through. Outside, the wind howled, rattling the windows, and the wood stove crackled softly in the corner. It should have been cozy. Instead, Ryan felt uneasy. A cold draft brushed past him, raising goosebumps on his arms. He paused, glancing round. The windows were shut, the fireplace blazing. Where had that chill come from? Shrugging it off, he reached for another stack of papers. Then he heard a faint creak, like the sound of a door opening. He froze. Slowly, Ryan turned his head toward the hallway. And that's when he saw it. At the very end of the hall, where there should have been a blank wall, stood a door that had never been there before. He blinked. His breath caught in his throat. The door was old, its wood dark and warped, the paint peeling in jagged strips. Its handle gleamed faintly, as though it had been polished. He knew this house, knew it better than his own apartment back in the city. There had never been a door there, not once in his 34 years of coming and going. The rational part of his mind told him it had to be a mistake. Maybe he hadn't noticed it before, or maybe his grandfather had added it without telling anyone. But deep down, he knew better. Something about the door felt wrong, out of place, almost alive. He got up slowly, the floorboards creaking beneath his feet as he approached the hallway. The closer he got, the heavier the air seemed, thick and oppressive, like a storm was building inside the house. When he finally stood in front of the door, he hesitated. His hand hovered near the handle, but he didn't touch it. "Okay," he muttered under his breath, trying to steady his nerves. "This is ridiculous." He reached for the handle. The moment his fingers brushed the cold metal, a jolt shot through him, like static electricity magnified tenfold. He yanked his hand back, heart pounding. The house went completely silent. No wind, no crackling fire, nothing. Just an eerie, suffocating quiet. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice unsteady. The door creaked open on its own. Ryan stumbled back, his pulse racing. Beyond the doorway was nothing. No room, no furniture, no light. Just an endless, yawning darkness that seemed to stretch on forever. And yet, as he stared into the void, he felt something staring back. A voice whispered from the darkness, low and guttural, "Come closer."
Ryan's breath hitched. Every instinct screamed at him to run, to slam the door shut and get out of the house. But his feet didn't move. He was frozen, caught between terror and an inexplicable pull toward the void. The whisper came again, louder this time. "We've been waiting for you, Ryan." His name, it knew his name. Finally breaking free of his paralysis, Ryan slammed the door shut with a force that rattled the walls. The oppressive air lifted immediately, the normal sounds of the house rushing back as though someone had flipped a switch. The door was gone, just a blank wall where it had been. Ryan stumbled back into the living room, his mind racing. Had he imagined it? The door, the voice, the impossible darkness? He looked down at his hand, the one that had touched the handle. His fingertips were ice cold, and the skin was marked with faint, dark lines like veins. But wrong, twisted. The house seemed quiet again, but Ryan knew the truth. Something had changed. That door wasn't supposed to exist, and whatever was behind it wasn't done with him yet.